Hello everybody, welcome to Xel'Naga Fortress. Here we have ReIGN.Inori as the blue Protoss down on the bottom or bottom left spawn, and on the far right we have once again it's SlayerS Puzzle as the red Protoss.
Alright, yes indeed. So Puzzle has put his team only one game away from moving on and eliminating ReIGN from this tournament. Now ReIGN of course throwing up quite a good ringer, if I do say so myself. He's a PvP specialist. After this, it's going to be a little bit trickier, as SlayerS is going to still have quite a few incredibly high-level players at their disposal. As this was being played, MMA was coming off of his win from MVP in the Blizzard Cup, but I assume he was still training, of course, for the actual Blizzard Cup finals. So I don't know if he's available, but of course we still have players like Ganzi and ReIGN and Tasia, etc., 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 that are just waiting to be thrown out there.
Yeah, their roster is actually about like 16 people deep, and you know, just when they played against Mao's, they threw out a player I'd never heard of. So it's like SlayerS is just recruiting at PC Bangs or something like that, and just grabbing whoever's decent. But they have such a deep roster that honestly, if Inori were to win this game, they could basically just reach. I mean, they could throw up any number of people to try and try and deal with it, and they still have several lives available. So if Inori were to kill Puzzle and, you know, player Z and whoever else, like, they still would have another life if he. So
exactly, yeah,
it's a tough spot for sure.
If he would, if he would win this game, they could still feasibly throw out one from every race on top of that. Yeah. So, and they have players in Code S from every race. Yep. So I don't want to say it's impossible for him. We're not trying to paint that picture necessarily. We're just trying to more show you how strong and complete of a team SlayerS is and why they've done so well in a lot of these team tournaments. I think some people are in agreement that they may have taken Mouse a little bit lightly, throwing in some unknown players and things like that, and did come back and bite them, as now they have to fight their way through the lower brackets. But they certainly haven't taken this lightly so far, as they threw out Code S Clyde. Of course, yes, he had a little bit of a disappointing performance this go-around, but Clyde and then right into Puzzle. So Inori did decide to open with an 11 gate, so he had a lot earlier gate and a lot earlier gas, and consequently, of course, he's putting up his warp gate technology very, very quickly. Mr. Puzzle, on the other hand, he actually does have double gas down pretty early. The first gas for Inori came down earlier than Puzzle, but Puzzle ended up throwing his second gas before Inori did, so it'll balance out a little bit here pretty soon.
Yeah, that production tab is still more or less mirrored Puzzle's second gas finish, maybe 5 or 6 seconds ahead of time. So everything else still very, very even. And Inori, I'm expecting to see 3-gate defense again, just because Tal'Darim Alter, that's what he does. He makes 3 gates, he sits back and defends however many gates the opponent makes. But actually, Inori is going to go for a full-on 4-gate. It looks like the travel distance between the two bases is not so long that he could just go all in. I mean, he could very feasibly do that, but Puzzle is going to build a robotics facility off of just 1 gateway. So unless he can chrono out some Immortals very quickly, 4-gate could be interesting. We're going to need to see some sentries for sure out of Puzzle. Yeah, and at the very least.
Has the potential to outright kill him, as a matter of fact. And look at this, Inori is going to press it right away, as he does have a pylon being put down at the front and one at the top as well. So he's moving in right now, even though he's working off of a unit disadvantage. And it looks like he will be able to snag himself. Both players actually will be able to snag themselves. Zealot kills. Don't know why that Zealot was still pursuing, as a matter of fact. Inori will be able to cancel the one at the top of the ramp if he so desires. No, decides not to, and just warping in right away.
The Zealot of Puzzle lives, but the pylon on the bottom survives. So many probes were pulled to be able to kill that pylon. They lost all that mining time. He's at a severe gateway disadvantage, and Inori suddenly has 5 Stalkers where Puzzle only has something like 2, trying to get that first Immortal out and another Stalker while all these probes are paying the price for those Stalkers not being enough.
No, not at all. And now we have a Zealot, and the Zealot's all he needs to basically tank every probe that's sitting there, while the Stalkers go to town on the rest of the units, even warping up on the high ground now. And the Zealots are going to start getting into the probe-killing action. The economy for Puzzle is basically nothing. He does finish up 1 Immortal. Looks like he'll pick off at least 1 Stalker, but that
Zealots.
Immortal has still not quite paid for itself
yet.
yet.
Zealots can just glue themselves to the Immortal and keep him out of the fight. Stalker's obviously very quick units. They can just back off when need be. And now there's no Immortal coming out. There's no mining for the last 2 minutes, essentially. And Inori has just been safe at home, working off of his 4 gates. Warping up on the high ground is excellent for him.
Unbelievable.
And there's the GG from Puzzle in an extremely fast PvP game. 7 minutes long. Inori just crushing down on SlayerS Puzzle there.
A bit of a build order win there for Inori, but very nice job of him to just sniff out what his opponent was doing and press his advantage and outright kill Puzzle. That's going to send us into game number 7. We'll move into that game in just a second.
수상장